Hope you're doing great today. It is chilly out here. Got to put my gloves on. It is a great day. It is the on-ramp to the wintertime. I think it's going to get in the low 20s today. So there you have it. There you have it. Boy, what about the Apostle Paul hanging out with his protege Timothy? They probably walked down roads, maybe paths that looked like this or something, but they were probably maybe desert paths. I don't know what they would have been. But they were probably talking as they were walking down the road, talking about life's issues, how to help people grasp the reality of life in Christ and what that might look like. And just trying to keep the chain link communication of the message of Jesus alive through one generation to the next. And Paul says to Timothy, he says, hey man, in the later days, there's going to be these form of people. They'll acknowledge that there's a God, but they'll deny the power therein. They'll deny the power therein. That's a harsh idea. But if you go back to Jesus' actual life in John chapter, I think it's 9:30, that general story there, Jesus comes across a guy born blind and hasn't ever seen. Okay, you got the picture. Think about that for a second. Imagine if you're blind and you've never seen, what would your images in your head be? What would you actually see if you've never seen anything? Does that make sense? Like, I can imagine what a beach looks like right now because I've seen a beach. But if you're born blind, what images are in your head, if any? I don't know. But that's the guy in John 9, born blind. Jesus talks to him, teaches the disciples through this process, lays out a loogie in the dirt, takes the clay, pops it in the guy's eyes, tells him to go wash it off. And the next thing you know, a guy who's not ever seen anything sees probably better than 20/20. Wouldn't that be the way God works, that 20/20 is what we say is good vision? He wouldn't give him 20/20. He's got some kind of vision that's ridiculous, like Hawkeye kind of vision. So then the religious people, the Pharisees, they are underwhelmed by this thing. They want to start calling Jesus all kinds of names. They want to argue about where he's from and the fact that there's supposedly not been any prophets that ever came from Galilee. They never heard of a guy named Jonah, but they kept their lies going. So then they talked to the guy that was blind and can now see. His brain is blowing up because he's seeing things that he didn't even know existed. Like, this is within hours of him seeing when he's never seen anything. And the Pharisees are wanting to argue with this guy how it happened. Can you imagine from that guy's vantage point? Did he care how it happened? Is he worried about anything? He's never seen anything his entire life, and now he's seeing it, and these knuckleheads are asking him, how did this happen? They're all jazzed up because it happened on a Sunday. And so then they can't get the answer they want from him, so they're going to go play some Christian politics. I don't know, go to the church politics, whatever. They get his parents there, and they want his parents to go against him, because if they don't, they're going to kick him out of the temple. And the parents are scared to death because they economically need the benefit of the Jewish community. And so they say, well, he's of age, you go ask him yourself. The parents didn't want to risk it. And the parents have no idea what kind of amazing thing their kid is going through, but he's walking around going, whoa, look at that. What is that? I've never seen that before. Everything he sees, he's saying, I've never seen that before. So the Pharisees can't handle it anymore. So they call him back in and they start grilling him as though their questions were going to be a concern to him. So he finally says he's had enough of their stupidity. And if you read John 9:30, he's getting sassy with them. He says, oh, I think you guys are about ready to believe too. Do you want to start believing he's Messiah? And he said, if you guys are so basic smart, how come it matters where he came from if I was born blind and I see? That's what he says to them. And they just lose their mind and they kick him out of the community. But do you think he cared? Like, think about what Paul was telling Timothy. In the later days, they'll acknowledge God, they'll deny the power therein. You think this guy's going to deny the power that happened? He went his whole life, probably well into his 20s, without ever seeing anything. And that day he's seeing. I think he had a different attitude. I think he's pretty jazzed. I don't think he cares what man can do to him. And I think once we get to the point where we don't really worry whether man can do anything to us, we can begin to really live. And that's where that blind guy was. So I hope today you can see clearly, that your soul can see clearly, and you can trust God enough that you don't really worry what man thinks about you, and you can walk by faith. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you soon.